Hush, now don't you cry. Tooralooraloora. Tooraloora. Hey, Nathan's in High Court Tube. Daily Dose of Blues. Cesaro. Superior Spider Boy. Yellow Flash. Mr. X DJ Games. The DD Flip a Clip Animations. Daily Dose of Blues. Bryce King. High Commander of the Helgen? I like that. Cool Click. Gigamax back in. Simon's here. Gamers boy. Jeff's back in. The Deity. Johnny Bravocado. Listen, what I was thinking here, I got thinking about the title of the stream last night, and of course, you guys can talk about anything you want, but this is what I titled it because I was watching a movie last night, movie that I really really enjoy. One of those movies that every time it comes on, I don't care how often it is, I'll watch it again. And then I got thinking how horrifically bad the sequel was. The second one was. So I want to know, before I tell you guys what mine was, and we'll repeat this again because people are obviously still just coming in. What, off the top of your head, what do you think is the worst sequel as far as first movie to second movie? Only the first two. The reason I say that is because, you can go into the Jason movies and all that shit where they really started, or the Chucky movies, they started really turning to shit the further they went. But from first movie to second movie, well, it's got to be first to second, One Piece buff. Just for what we're doing here. Amazing Spider-Man 2. Really? Simon says Iron Man 2. I didn't know they had a second emoji movie? I did not even know that. That must be how good it was. I did not even know that. Kick-Ass 2. That's a good one. Cool Click. I didn't think about that one. Yeah, that was bad. I'm not going to put that one over the one I'm thinking of, but you're right, that was bad. Toy Story 2, come on, Yellow Flash, that wasn't that bad. I agree with, and you guys know I'm a huge nerd for the Toy Story movies, and I'm with Yellow Flash as far as when I do my rankings, 2 is the last of them, comes in last of the 4, but, yeah, but I wouldn't go with that one all, just because I liked all of them. Let's see. Iron Man 2. See, I don't remember that one. That's an interesting one, Centauri. Finding Dory. I still haven't seen that. That was another one of those cases where you guys know we're all Disney nuts in my house. So when my wife and the kids all went to it, somebody needed, a lot of times my wife and I can't be gone at the same time. Either it's, well, and sometimes it's both, because my mom is here. She can't be left alone with the dementia and everything. And or my stepdaughter, of course, is multiply disabled, and she has to have somebody in the house with her. So I stayed home, and I still haven't gotten to see that. My family said, I don't know that they would put it up there as the worst, but they tended to agree with you that it wasn't anywhere near as good as Nemo. Let's see. Iron Man 2, I'm surprised that's Wreck-It Ralph 2. I can't, English nerd, I can't remember. Why the hell can I remember that? Wreck-It Ralph 2.
Ralph 2 wasn't that
I didn't think it was that bad either. That's the one where they went into the internet, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, Ralph does the internet. You think so?
I thought that
English
was a good
nerd?
ending to it too.
Yeah, again, that's another case where I agree. 2 was not nearly as good as 1, but I didn't think that one was that. Ooh, Bryce King. Holy shit, that's almost as bad as the one I had in mind. Caddyshack 2. Yeah, and I should be more specific. What I'm looking for too is particularly a first movie that you really enjoyed. That's a first movie that's way up here on your list, and then they came out with another one that was like, you should all be severely reprimanded, spanked, beaten, okay, shot, whatever, for making the second one. Caddyshack 2. I wouldn't have thought of that, and ooh, that's up there. Transformers 2. I didn't watch the Transformers series. I'll take your word on that one. I know a lot of people didn't like it. Cars 2. Yeah, again, now in that trilogy, One Piece buff, I wouldn't put 2 as big a drop off as the one I'm thinking of from 1, but yeah, in that trilogy, 2 is my least favorite. It's 1, 3, 2 in that one, and then in Toy Story, my favorites are 3, 142. Worst movie sequels COVID-19 support gaming 2020 says, yeah, good. You make a strong case. Jeepers Creepers 2? I didn't see those. That's a bad Frozen 2? You think so? High Commander? I'm perfectly willing to admit the nerdness of me in that I really liked Frozen, and I just saw Frozen 2 just like last week. I didn't think that was that terrible. Again, not as good as Frozen, but I didn't think that was that terrible. Let's see. The Dildo Man 2? If it's called Dildo Man, I'm sure I had to see that. Mulan 2, I haven't seen the second Mulan. That's bad, D. I haven't seen that. It Chapter 2 wasn't enjoyable, the first one. Yeah, I agree with you there. Flip a clip. I don't think it dropped off as much as the one I'm thinking of, but yeah, I agree. Let's see. Mulan 2, Cars 2 we did. Oh, Alvin and the Chipmunks. Yeah, the second one, I actually liked Alvin and Chipmunks movies. The second one definitely dropped off, but the first one to me was enjoyable, but it wasn't at a high enough level that it was really offensive to me that the second one was bad. Kronk's New Groove, they didn't have any of the original voice actors, so that killed it for me. Oh, really? The Kronks? That one I didn't see either. It's fun to Without a Paddle too. Oh, that was years ago, Mr. Zadakai. You're right, that was bad, but that won't make it for me only because I didn't like Without a Paddle that much. It was okay, but I didn't like it. I wasn't all that into it. Oh, that's a Poo Poo Doo Doo, Monsters University, because my childhood movie is Monsters Inc. That was a significant drop off. That was significant. The Incredibles 2? I didn't think that one dropped off that horrible. Again, I've yet to disagree with any of you that you're picking sequels that were definitely inferior to the first. Oh, that's a good one, Johnny Bravocado. Jaws 2, yeah. That one also, okay, I'm going to reveal what mine is. And for me, that wouldn't be as big a drop off because as much as, I was a teenager when Jaws came out and I was into the hysteria around it as much as anybody, but I didn't enjoy Jaws as much as I enjoyed this movie. I'm thinking of the first one, but you're right. But as far as the drop off was insane. That's a good one. Beethoven 2 is another good one. Yeah, because the first one, again, Beethoven is a movie I enjoyed. Not high on my list, but Beethoven 2 is just insanely stupid. Okay, I'll tell you guys what mine was, and tell me if you, those of you who've seen it, if you agree. It was just on again last night. The first one, like I said at the opening, is a movie that no matter how many times it's on, I'll watch it. I enjoy it that much. It makes me laugh every time, enjoy the characters, the story. And the second one was so insanely stupid that I started to watch it the first time through on the second one. Couldn't do it because it was so dumb. But the first one was so good, I tried to convince myself, okay, I must have just been in a pissy mood or something. I'll watch the second one again, and it got worse. And that's Grown Ups. How many of you guys have watched both of those? What do you think, Brax?
What?
Grown Ups 1 and 2.
No, 1 was good, 2 was bad.
Yeah, but super bad. I mean, super bad. Bring another movie title in. Grown Ups 1 is one of my all-time favorite comedies, and Grown Ups 2 is so fucking stupid. Oh yeah, okay, so at least you guys are agreeing with me. Yeah, it was. I do too. Flip a clip. I love Grown Ups. It's again one of my favorite comedies of all time, and that second one, it does. Spider Boy. How can you make something that good at the first try? The dialogue was good, the story, everything about it was good, and the second one could be just that horrible. The jokes are moronic. Zoolander 2 was pretty awful too, Gigamac. Yep. I like Zoolander. Zoolander 2 was really stupid. Yeah, Johnny though, Jaws wasn't as big a deal to me. I couldn't even tell you why. And again, I'm from the era when that was huge. That was all anybody was talking about. And it was, it was scary. There were some good jump scares in it and stuff, but it just didn't, that didn't rank for me in scary movies, dramas, whatever you want to call it, nearly as high as Grown Ups ranks for me within comedies. Riley says, "Yeah, it was stupid. The first was way better." It was, it was so bad. The second one that it actually makes me mad to watch it. I get angry watching it. Hey, Philip. Philip says, "Curtis, what's up? You should check out Assassination Classroom. It's a great anime, and you'll have to." Yeah, we've watched the whole thing over at the Goose, Philip. It was really good. Yep, I love Vast Class. That was funny as hell. That's you talk about some great characters and an entirely different concept. And I love the ending of it too. I really like the way it went down. And Koro Sensei is, as far as I'm concerned, an absolute classic anime character. Nightmare on Elm Street 2. Like I say, doesn't rise above the disappointment I had for Grown Ups 2, but I completely agree, Nathan. Because I liked the original Nightmare on Elm Street. And then the second one was just like, what? Yeah. Really? Stanny MC says, if you combine the Rotten Tomato scores of Adam Sandler's last four movies, you still get less than 40%. I like Adam Sandler, but that doesn't surprise me, and that's probably well deserved. Puppet Master 2? I didn't see those till the end of time. I didn't see those. Let's see. Yeah, you can count any, as long as they're movies, you can count any of them, Valkyrie and Steel. Caddyshack 2 got mentioned, John Shipley, and I have to admit, that's way up there. I hadn't thought of that one, but I love Caddyshack. And that's another one that I consider a classic comedy. Yeah, Caddyshack 2 is painfully stupid. That's real close for me. I hadn't thought about that, but that's, you know what, you guys might even be convincing me that, because this is one of the reasons I do it, because I know you guys will remind me of things. Caddyshack 2 might even be a worse drop-off than Grown Ups 2. That'd be close. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, yeah, Nathan, that's... that was bad. Yeah, well, Biggest Green says not really a sequel, but that 98 American Godzilla movie was kind of terrible. It definitely was. And they've made a lot of terrible Godzilla ones. You know what I remember most about that one, Big Green? Wow, I can tell you. That was when I told you guys I used to drive weekends, make extra money. I would drive motor coach, drive bus tours. And I was in New York City all the time. And for the promotion of that movie, they had a billboard that was an entire block long running across the side of a building down there. And I remember thinking, that's a pretty badass billboard. And it was basically just Godzilla's tail. And it was showing you the size of Godzilla. It's like, okay, that's a good visual. And then I watched the movie, and it was like, yeah, the billboard was way more entertaining. Let's see. I think somebody did. I think I missed it, BTG. He says, I assume someone said Son of the Mask. I agree with you. That obviously, Son of the Mask was awful. The reason it's not as big a drop-off for me as Grown Ups and Caddyshack is only because I didn't like The Mask as much as I did those. It was okay. I'm not a huge Jim Carrey fan. He's been in some things I've liked. I thought Dumb and Dumber was quality, literally dumb humor. But I haven't liked a lot of his movies. Johnny Bravocado says, let's go find Sandler and beat his ass. Oh, I was thinking it last night watching Grown Ups again, how much it pisses me off, that second one. Hated the movie I Know What You Did Last Summer. I didn't get into that one either, Philip. The horror movie? It was okay. It was alright. Hi Morgan, good to see you, hon. Problem Child 2. Oh, that's going back, Daily Dose of Blues. I forgot about that one. You're right, that was terrible. I did see that. And Problem Child, again, the big difference for me was Problem Child 1 was good, but I wasn't as into it as many people were, because that was really hyped when it came out, Problem Child. I thought it was funny. It was good, but I wasn't into it as some others. Mr. Host says, American Psycho 2. Haven't seen that one. Takes a huge dump. Excuse me, sorry guys. Takes a huge dump on the original book and movie, and it wasn't filmed as a sequel originally. The title was just slapped on. Oh, that's awful. Really, I haven't seen that one. Yeah. And American Psycho was good. So yeah, I could see that being the case. Because you're starting with a high bar with American Psycho 1, so I believe that. Dragonsphere says Ocean's 8 was so terrible it made me want to Final Flash every single cast member up their ass repeatedly and Hashirama Wood style down their throat. That awful, huh? I didn't get into the whole Ocean's 12, Ocean's 11, the whole series all that much. But I will say this, Dragonsphere, you're not the first person I've heard say that Ocean's 8 was just an absolute piece of shit. Oh, that's a good one, Simon. Beverly Hills Cop 2 sucked too. That was, yeah, and I really like Beverly Hills Cop. That is a classic one. I don't put it as quite as much of a drop off as Caddyshack and my Adam Sandler movie. But yes, that's a definitive huge drop off on that one because the first one was such a classic. See how names go out of my head. I mean, how many times will we talk about something and a name will still go out of my head? Small movie of D's nuts. No, Steve says one last kill. No sequels to that one. That was a last kill. Well, I guess Curtis could rise up. He faked his death once. He could have done it again. I don't know how he would have faked it with that, with getting shot and everything. For those who don't know, One Last Kill is the movie, the full-length movie I made years ago. Yeah, I haven't heard from Sheeps or Teen Gyan or Jokage. Wolverine Sheeps has told me before he's in and out depending on what goes on. That's the reason I never get too concerned because Sheeps has been with us for a long time and he's told me before, different things going on in his life, he'll be in and out. Teen Gyan Guts, he's just really busy. Last I had heard from him, and Jokage I was just talking to the other day. Joe's still with us. He doesn't have time to post as much, but I was just talking to him in the comments the other day. So none of them are anybody I'm too worried about. Just, again, because, like I say, Sheeps has said before, there'll be times where he can't be in. Teen Gyan Guts told me the same thing. And again, Jokage's busier than he was before. But I was just talking to him the other day. As a matter of fact, it was on the thread about wanting you guys to get involved in singing the Binks Boo song. He's right in on that thread. And I got to post. I will tomorrow. Any of you guys, especially, I don't know if we got any of the girls in here. Oh, Chrome. As I say that, Chrome pops up. Pops up. Chrome, you popped up. But any of you guys want to sing that song and be part of the final production, please do so. The more the merrier. We've got quite a few, but I was hoping at least one of the girls would want to too. I think it would be cool to have a girl's voice in there as well. Mr. Host says, it's like a teen slasher starring Mila Kunis, and they added a scene where she kills off Patrick Bateman at the beginning like he was nothing. Yow. It's just amazing how you can go from something that was just considered a masterpiece to, like you say, a teen slasher. Off topic, Dragon Shear says, but Persona 5 Royal out tonight? I've never played any of the Persona games. Boy, I tell you though, any game coming out right now is going to get a lot of attention. I mean, I'm sure, don't get me wrong, I'm sure gaming companies aren't going, oh boy, we got a pandemic, we're going to sell games, but it's the fact of the matter. You got, unfortunately, captive audiences now. Any of the Naruto movies, they don't follow plot or the original story. Yeah, that's fair, Nathan. That's fair, and I haven't, not a big fan of the movies. Have I seen any of them? One of them, maybe? It's not even out yet, but No Time to Die? I'm not familiar with that one, BTG. No Time to Die. I'm not familiar with that one. Let's see. God damn it. If we could count Death Note as a movie, then Death Note movie on Netflix. I watched a little bit of that after I finished Death Note, and it was just for shits and giggles. I didn't plan on. It's not like I walked away from it. I wasn't planning on watching all of it, but I watched the live action one. Yeah, it's a good thing I hadn't planned on going through it because I would have never gotten through it. It was stupid. Is there? Yeah. Well, thank you, my hero. Thank you. I like those little things. Again, I'll say it every time. I'm so goddamn simple. But thanks, my friend. Yeah, yeah. The live action Death Note was horrible. Absolutely terrible. No, Chrome, really? Chrome says for some reason the live action Death Note Netflixing will be getting a second film. Jesus, why? I hadn't even planned on watching all of it. I just wanted to see, what the deal was, and it was terrible. Oh, horrible, stupid. Wow. Um, let's see what else. The Birds too. I missed that one. Pearl Pictures. I didn't even. Birds is a classic. I didn't even know there was a Birds too. Probably tells a lot about how good it was, huh? Mr. Host says, also, Uncut Gems, I still haven't seen that, is a recent fantastic Adam Sandler movie. Also gave me a heart attack, really anxiety inducing, not a comedy. Yeah, I heard a lot about that one, Mr. Host. A lot of people were pissed off that it didn't get more awards consideration than it did. And the take from, I know from a lot of people in the industry on that was it was just because it's Adam Sandler and they wouldn't take him seriously. But when we were talking about his Rotten Tomatoes scores, I'd forgotten about Uncut Gems being out, though. Yeah, I've heard from a lot of people that's really good. Riley Joestar says Cats was horrific. Again, fortunately I had enough people tell me how terrible it was. I had limited interest to begin with, but I wouldn't even sit through it streaming now or anything, just from what everybody has said. The only reason I might have otherwise been enticed to watch it at all is because the song Memory is from Cats, and I absolutely love that song. Absolutely love it. Die Hard 4 and 5. Yeah, a lot of them, I think, Stanny, that's what we were talking about earlier. A lot of them, when they got into fourths and fifths, they were really, really shit. But I was wondering specifically about the ones when you can go from a great movie as number one and then just dive headfirst into a pile of dog shit on movie 2. Excuse me. Yeah, that one came up a little earlier. Stevie says, I've never seen any of them, but apparently Jaws 2 was the worst piece of shit compared to the first. And again, it was awful. And the first one is, even though it's not one of my all-time favorites, the first Jaws is a great movie, especially for the time period. And the second one was just absolutely idiotic. It was just completely moronic. Let's see. Oh, is this okay? Arthur says, "Slut sucks off a horse 7." Now, is that using the one of those providers there? You guys were telling me about it the other day. There are places you can go on the internet because we know, especially with the super chats, fucking YouTube likes to censor them, even though I have all the censoring options turned off on this channel. But the gang just showed me the other day during a live stream that there are places on the internet where you can go and put in text and it will spit out something that you can copy and paste that fools the censors. Philip says, my birthday is 4/20. Can I get a special reaction from you? That's not a can of worms that, I mean, well, we still got almost a month to go, but happy early birthday. But we have many thousand people here that are still active, and I can't do a reaction for one and not for everybody else on their birthday. And as it is now, what I do every day is pretty much the limit of the time that I have to put out videos. So I can't afford to open up that can of worms. Nathan says the second part of the original, it's ending. Okay, I got to go back. No, I forgot what we were talking about, Nathan. Hold on. Let me look at my super chats. I'll go back. Oh, you're talking about Death Note? I had to remember which one we were talking about in that sequence. The second part of the original, it's ending. I'm not sure. I'm not sure what you mean, pal. I'm not sure what you mean there. You do a strip tease video for me though, right? Steve says, "Well, those, I try and save them for my, my cam shows." Johnny Bravocado, not a second sequel, but Leprechaun Back to the Hood sucks shit through a crazy straw. Was that? Oh, it wasn't a second sequel. I was gonna say I didn't think that was the second one because I know the first Leprechaun movie was pretty scary. I thought. I mean, it wasn't one of my favorites, but I thought it was pretty scary. And then the second one I didn't watch all of. Yeah, it was pretty terrible. So that's how we dodge YouTube censorship. Yeah, Lude, I didn't know anything about it till just the other day. The gang was telling me there are these websites you can go to and put in the text and it. And as I've said all along, why give me the options to censor or not censor if you're just gonna fucking ignore whatever I select anyway? But it's because it's Susan. That's why. Oh, the original It ending. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Nathan. The original It from TV, that pissed me right off. Because that was the one, the original It, for those of you who don't know, it was a miniseries on TV years ago, and the ending was fucking stupid. I was so pissed off that I put all that time watching that, and the story built up really well, and then the ending was horrible. Now, the theatrical release, the more recent theatrical release of It was good. I enjoyed that, but could not agree with you more. That was terrible. I was so pissed at that. BTG, No Time to Die, or as I prefer, No Time to Die, is the diversity obsessed SJW's successful attempt to ruin James Bond. Really? See, I'm not a Bond fan. That's why that didn't click with me. The title. Oh, man. And well, you guys know my feelings on that. SJWs are being allowed to ruin a lot of forms of entertainment as far as I'm concerned. Now, you can't just, in so many different areas, you can't just tell a story the way you want to tell it because there's always an SJW out there saying, well, you didn't include this person, or you didn't include that person, or you can't have this actor play that role because they aren't actually that race, creed, religion, whatever the case may be, which is, of course, why it's called acting, but, yeah. Gerardo says, excuse me, we used to watch My Hero Academia Season 4. I'm asking because the dub has been delayed by 5 episodes because of the coronavirus. Hope you're doing good. Doing good, Gerardo. Yeah, it'll probably be straightened out by the time I get to it because, again, the thing with any of these, with DXD Season 4, any of them, I got to find a place for them. I don't have enough time in the day to do another reaction video, another daily. So what I'm probably going to do is, as we're finishing up Trigun, I'm going to go to Code Geass, and then after Code Geass, I think we'll catch up on DXD Season 4, and then it'll probably, that's getting way ahead, then it'll probably after that be MHA 4. That's the plan as it stands right now. Biggest Green says, yes, JW's ruined everything. I would agree. M says, I'm not sure I know most sequels to original movies, to be honest. I don't normally like sequels. That's understandable. Although the sequel to Anchorman was horrible and I pretend it doesn't exist. Anchorman was funny, and I agree with you, Em. I watched a little bit of the second one. It wasn't, during its theatrical release. It was on whatever, someplace on TV. I don't remember if it was streaming or on one of the cable networks. But I watched little bits and pieces of it, and that was enough to tell me I didn't want to watch it from the start. Let's see. Sam Brown says, read my message. Not enough space? Okay, I'll try and watch for it. Proportionality over diversity, VTG says. Oh shit. And then why does that always do that to me? There's a Swaikage video called Why the Uchiha Clan is So Overpowered. Hilarious and very accurate. Would appreciate if you would check it out in the upcoming week or so. I also think the 4 Uchihas are the best characters in the series. I know, very unlikely. It's again, guys, I'm not looking for any reaction recommendations. We got our regular schedule at the Goosh, and then the daily upload of Dragon Ball Super I want to stay with, because anytime we can get anime up at the YouTube channel, because it's been months, I'm going to stay right with that because we all enjoy the anime. And right now I'm trying to get a day where I have enough time to also, along with the Dragon Ball Super upload, to go back to Devil Artemis, and now there's another completely gone out of my head. There's another series that we watch, and I've forgotten which one it was, and I just saw on my I actually got a notification that there's another one out. You guys will know what I'm talking about because you guys follow them as closely as I do, but you'll actually remember. But anyway, there's another one I'm trying to fit in. So yeah, there definitely won't be another swag video coming up certainly in the next week or so. Dragon Ball Evolution is lesser than toilet paper to wipe with. That was awful. PlayStation Metalhead. When you guys were telling me how terrible it was, it's like, okay, you piqued my interest, but even as bad as you had told me it was, did not prepare me for that level of awfulness. Steve says, I need everyone's idea on what they'd watch on YouTube based around horror. I have a camera and editing software, but running low on ideas. I want to know what people would be interested in watching. Well, that's cool. So, horrors or horror. I'll watch both. Let's see. Easy Godfather 2. Marcus, I knew somebody was going to be a wise ass and say that. Hi, Select Neil. Good to see you. Let's see. M says, I need to catch up on the One Piece reactions because you're coming up to my second favorite arc now, and I have to see your reaction to it. Oh, and that series is so goddamn good. Man, that whole thing with Laboon. Jeez, that was... And Binks Booze. Just so taken with that song. For those of you who don't know, over at the Goosh, we're putting something together right now. I have my music guy. He's taking and he's going to mimic the music for Binks Booze, and he's going to play it exactly the way it was played in the series in the English dub. And I've got Gooshers sending me video of them singing along with that, and it's on YouTube, obviously. And because my music guy is going to match up the tempo exactly, when I get that music in, I'm going to put together a big production of the Goosh Goosh Pirates singing Binks Booze. But what I'm hoping for is, and I seen a couple of our women are in here today. If any of you girls want to do it, please do so. I'd love to have at least one female voice for the production when it's over. I'll post about it again tomorrow in the Goosh, just reminding everybody, that we're still looking for them. Glenn says, I'm here for a live stream on time. What the fuck? Let's see. Someone super chat the entire Twilight series. The only thing there was they lost me at the beginning because I like vampire shit, but when that dumbass they were out in the woods there and he was leading all up to how he was gonna show her something that happens to him in the sunlight, and I was like, this is gonna be good. He's gonna be all fucked up or something. His skin's gonna melt, or he's gonna freak out, and he sparkled. Like, that was the end for me. I agree with that, Arthur. He says DB Evolution sucks so bad it's good to mock. Yes, I agree. It set itself up for mockery. Wolverine, I absolutely loved insert random spoiler in One Piece. Oh yeah, did somebody mention that? I just slipped by. Did somebody? Grease 2, yes. Zephyr, that was bad too. I almost don't put it. One of the reasons I don't put it up with as bad a drop off as some of the others, because it gave us the classic song, I Want a Cool Rider. You talk about something that was so stupid and horrible it was good, or fun. But you're right, Grease 2 was terrible, and Grease was excellent. BTG says, saw my neighbor with the massive boobs walking down the garden topless. Now if only his wife would do the same. Oh, you suck. There it is. Not going to lie. You had me in the first half. I was like, so you mind if I come over and hang out for a little while? But yeah, If his wife isn't doing the same, yeah, never mind. I can see that. I live out here in Hillbilly Town. I can see that. Just got off an 8-hour shift. Now I got to walk home, lifer? Oh, that sucks. Oh, that sucks after putting in a full day of work and then walking home. He did, Em. He did get me with that. I was like, holy shit, I'm going to go hang out with VTG. Mr. Host, oh yeah, if you want to watch Edward Cullen savagely beat a seagull to death, watch The Lighthouse. Amazing. He does, huh? I didn't know. The Lighthouse. Yet, just from the name, Mr. Host, I'm assuming that's got to be some sort of romantic comedy or something. Or not even necessarily a romantic comedy, but a romance movie. So, as I've always said, I will watch any movie of any genre if it's good, if it's just a good film. But those are the ones that really have to be exceptional for me to even give them a try to, or give them an opportunity. Could you bunch vampires suck? Sparkling is Edward's bling. Igor says, speaking of DB Evolution, did you know that Evolution was so bad it inspired Toriyama to create Battle of Gods? He didn't want Evolution to be the last DB movie created. Thanks, I guess. Really? No, I didn't know that. I can understand that. It's awesome that Toriyama didn't want that to be the series legacy. That's for goddamn sure. Gimster says, the virus made its way to my town and workplace. Oh, shit. Yesterday was my last day for a long while due to 3 family members being high risk for the virus. No shit. For those who don't know, Gimster is in Canada, and by his own admission, he told us way out in the boonies. That's scary. Because the odds are against that, when you're really in a remote area of it getting to you. Oh, shit. Well, all we can do now, guys, is, worldwide, everybody in the know seems to be getting really serious. What's the drug? The chloroquine. Oh my God. Hydroxychloroquine. Let's hope. Let's hope the test. I mean, they got 1,100 people on it in New York City right now. We can all just keep our fingers crossed that things work out well with that. And if it does, hopefully that'll be a game changer for it. Arthur says, how long do we got for Bink's boob? Bink's boob. You guys know it. That's so Freudian. Bink's booze. I prefer dub. I had said around Wednesday or so, but I'll probably extend it even further than that. If you go over to at the Goosh right now, it's the post about Bink's Booze and everybody joining in is pinned right to the top. So just go to the main page and you'll see the Bink's Booze posting. Yeah, I was saying Wednesday, but if I have to extend it a little, that's fine. I may not even have the music in by Wednesday. It's going to take me, obviously, a while to edit that one together, too. Editing is going to be a process. Excuse me. Mr. Host says, oh, no, it's a Lovecraftian drama horror comedy starring Robert Pattinson and Willem Dafoe. I haven't heard about Willem Dafoe in a while. Incredibly period accurate because the director is meticulous. Really? And he beats a seagull to death, huh? I just was thinking by the title, it sounded like a romance. Oh, that might be something I would watch. I never minded Robert Pattinson. Now, Pattinson, he's the one that got the new Batman gig, though, right? Isn't he? Glenn Akers, Twilight was about vampires? I thought they were fairies. Easy mistake to make. They live in the woods, don't eat people, and sparkle in the sunlight. Vampires, really? That's pretty much where I was with it, Glenn. As soon as he started sparkling, and again, it's one of those times in a movie where something so stupid happened that it actually made you angry. It's like I was getting all psyched up. I like vampire movies. And oh man, this is gonna be gross. I can't see. Oh, she better watch her shit because he's gonna go. He's gonna change into badass vampire mode and he's gonna rip out her fucking throat. And he started sparkling. Shut the fuck up. Pet Sematary 2 was awful. I did see that one. Flip a clip. Yep, agree with you. Pet Sematary 1 was pretty good, pretty scary, and the second one was just idiotic. They both lose their freaking minds. It's amazing. That does sound. Yeah, that type of in-depth character development type thing. Yeah, I would probably be into that. Steve says, if anyone hasn't seen the film Orphan 2009, I haven't seen that one. Definitely watch. I'd pay anyone money if they didn't enjoy the film and get creeped out. Really? That good, huh? That one, no, I haven't seen that one. Maya says, Silent Hill Revelations. Both movies fucked up the story and atmosphere that the game set up, but Revelations was complete bullshit. That are the Prophecy sequels. I never did see those. I played Silent Hill for a while. Oh, years ago. It was enough years ago. Jeez. It was so long ago when I was playing it that Brax was little enough, he'd be like, yeah, I'm out. I'm not watching this. What? How long ago was that, Brax? Remember? When I was playing Silent Hill, you were still young enough that you didn't want to, you didn't even want to watch it? That had to be, what, at least 50? But that had to be 12, 13 years ago, probably. Yeah, that was ages ago. But I liked it. I liked that game. But I never did see anything of the movies. BTG says, that's why there's no more vampires. They were hunted to extinction because their skin turns into diamonds in the sunlight. Yeah. That scene will always stick with me for that reason, because I was just so pissed off. It's like, you set me up for that? Arthur, oh, I missed the super chat? Okay, hold on, Arthur. Let me drop down below here and pick it up here. It's easier to do it this way. I'll get it quicker. Okay, hold on. Why is this not keeping up? There it is. Oh, okay. Arthur said, oh yeah, I did miss that. Yeah, I'm in a rural area and we just had a death. Oof. That's scary. We're talking obviously about COVID-19, the virus, because that's been one of the few, I don't want to say safe spaces, but respite areas is, obviously the less condensed your population is, the better chance you have of it not infiltrating and spreading. And so, if people in these rural areas, if it's starting to hit home for them, that is scary. What you hope too is to make sure that if this hydroxychloroquine in combination with those Z-Packs and everything, if it does end up working well, we got to hope that they make sure that there is some supply of that going to these rural areas as well, because they aren't as heavily hit. I mean, you don't want to get too far ahead of yourself, but everything I've been reading, and I always try and look for the impetus behind anything as far as a study or the methodology within it, but everything I've been reading or hearing anecdotally sounds like it certainly think it's going to change the game. Hopefully it will change it in a huge way, but I think it's going to definitely make a difference. Nacho says, Starship Troopers 2. It had none of the charm of the first one. At least 3 tried for Odin's sake. Starship Troopers. I remember that title, Nacho, but I never saw those. Starship Troopers. I do remember that title. When I read it, that was familiar to me. Excuse me. Chrome says, aren't some states banning the stuff they think could treat it? That's getting, like everything else, Chrome, that's getting extra play or getting skewered on social media. I don't agree with what these governors have done necessarily, but they're not banning it. They were banning it for certain purposes. You could only basically use it in those cases for people that have already been diagnosed and I believe are in ER, there were certain parameters have to have been met. Considering how cheap and easy it is to make that drug, I don't think that was necessary. They say they're trying to protect people with lupus who rely on the drug. But the thing is, according to doctors, I mean, not me, I don't know shit about these things. I just know what I read. And going to reliable sources, the doctors say, well, if you've been taking this drug for lupus, it builds up in your system. And I know that to be the case with a lot of medicines. My daughter goes through it with her medicines. It builds up in your system. So if you miss some doses, don't worry about it. You'll be okay. And there's tens of millions of doses of hydroxychloroquine coming. They're being pumped out in America right now by Bayer and by several other drug makers. Israel is sending us, 10 million? Russia is jumping in and supposedly sending us over several million. So the market will get flooded with it. I think it was an overreaction. Sometimes, I don't know, Chrome. Sometimes it just seems like, and this is both sides of the aisle, you see people unfortunately, in high political office doing things just for the clicks. Because to me, there was no reason to have to go to that route. What we're finding out, it seems like this hydroxychloroquine combo works best if you get it early. So if you're in the early stages of having the disease, it unhinges it almost literally or unhooks it, because that's how it works. It hooks to existing cells in your body. It unhooks it and beats it. The longer you wait, the tougher it is for it to win. So cutting those people out by those governors, I think is pretty fucking stupid. And then some other state, some governor, I forgot which state it was. It was numbnuts in Virginia, I believe, Northam. He just extended the social distancing, stay at home, all the safety procedures till June 10th. As far as I'm concerned, he's either a fucking moron or he did that just to, again, looking for some clicks and some attention to say, look, I'm being more responsible than anyone. How can you extend it to June 10th? You have absolutely no fucking idea what the natural course of this disease will be in that much time. In 2.5 months? And not only that, that's not allowing at all for the fact that there's very quite possibly going to be some pharmaceutical intervention as well. Now, in the decree, it does say unless there's official word from the government saying differently as we go. But that doesn't make any sense to scare people who don't look into these things closely by saying June 10th and making them think that that's a done deal, that we've got no chance of beating this by June 10th. It's dumb to do that rather than just extend it like everybody else is, another couple weeks, another 3 weeks, whatever the case may be, and then reevaluate later. He's just, as far as I'm concerned, anybody that does shit like that is a garbage politician. Fuck you, Ralph Northam. You did that. Nobody will make me believe different. Did it 100% for the attention. BTG says, just set the IRS on the virus. Boom, case solved. See, nobody's just, I don't know if the virus would be, but people aren't as scared of the IRS anymore because everybody knows their numbers have been cut so much that they don't have the pop they used to have. Well, I don't know about that, but Wolverine wants a Spaz Kid punch.
Yeah.
Oh, Spaz Kid sits over there and waits for it as soon as I start streaming. M says all schools here are closed for the rest of the school year. Are they? Our kids here are, as of right now, are going back in May. Chrome says, I know there's some very limited cases of the disease lasting 3 months, but still, Jesus, most are just slowly increasing the quarantine length, not to panic people. Exactly, Chrome. Exactly. And you're 100% right. That's Ralph Northam. That's the kind of person he is, though, as far as I'm concerned. That's going to get him some attention. And it did. Now everybody's covering that. Ralph Northam, put state on lockdown until June 10th. Dum, dum, dum. Now he can come out and say, listen, I'm going to be the one to really defend my people. How am I going to show you that I'm doing more than anyone else? I'm going to set a date later than you did. Fuck you, Northam. You dumb shit. That's just absolutely stupid. Excuse me. Arthur says Spaz Kid loves it secretly. Johnny says, open everything back up, but if it causes death, all the people responsible should get charged with negligent homicide. No, I don't believe in opening everything back up right now, but I think that, like we were saying, we should be closing things down. Even Trump, I think, went too far. I don't think it was necessarily to go another month. I think you should be doing it in 2-week segments. Say, okay, for another 2 weeks, we're going to continue with this process, and then 10 days, 11 days from now, reevaluate it. Say, okay, we haven't gotten over that hump yet, guys. We're gonna have to do it for another 2 weeks. I think that's the responsible way to do it. Or even at the end of those 2 weeks, say, okay, well, we've seen improvement here, we've seen improvement there. Now we're gonna change some guidelines. We're gonna let this open up if you follow these guidelines. There's a lot of ways you can deal with this more intelligently than going, yeah, everybody's staying until June 10th. people aren't going to do that anyway. People are going to start getting panicked way before June 10th if they're still inside. Riley says, I like being off, but it's boring and Little Debbie's don't help. Oh, Riley, that little bitch. Little Debbie. How does that bitch make those cakes and those sweets so goddamn good at such a reasonable price? She pisses me off. Johnny Bravocado says, thankfully the virus hasn't made it to the base I'm stationed on. I hope it doesn't, pal. I certainly hope it doesn't. The old one. The virus will have to register as a sex offender and do the sex offender shuffle. Chrome says, lots of idiots last night decided to party in Strathclyde Park, ignoring quarantine and breaking into the park. Brilliant. Really pisses me off. Haven't left my home for a week and these idiots endanger my family. And that's what it is, Chrome. You're 100% right. The people that are just blowing this off completely and doing stuff like that. I think at this point, when you have a group that specifically, what you're talking about, breaking into the park to party together, knowing what we're facing right now, I think that should be a felony. I really do. I think that's a felonious act as far as I'm concerned. Let's see. What's a Little Debbie? Benno, it's excuse me guys, I got a terrible itch in my ear. Little Debbie is a snack cake company. They make all kinds of things. Braxton's favorite snack, my grandkids too, the whole time he was growing up, if you had one snack overall that was most enjoyable, was a Little Debbie snack. It was cosmic brownies. These little individually wrapped brownies that had these colored dots on top, candy dots on top. But she makes all kinds of things. Swiss cake rolls, these little chocolate cake rolls with vanilla cream. It's she's a bitch. Cause man, I could go to 500 pounds eating Little Debbie so easily. I agree, BTG. He says technically it could be classified as bioterrorism. Sure, it could, because nobody can claim ignorance at this point. Everybody in the world knows what we're up against here. And when you decide to just thumb your nose at everybody else, say "fuck you," we can do this if we want. I think you should go to jail. Jonathan says, yes, I love cosmic brownies and zebra cakes. Yes, they make zebra cakes too. Those are little cakes covered with how would you describe it, Jonathan? A hard vanilla frosting and drizzled with chocolate. Oh, that Little Debbie bitch. It is delicious, biggest green. It is absolutely delicious. She's such a bitch. Boy, I probably would weigh 15 pounds less at least right now if Little Debbie didn't exist. So Jeff says, so do we thank the people that made Dragon Ball Evolution? I hate to actually go that far and actually thank them, Jeff. You're making me hungry. Benno says, haha, Little Debbie sounds so delicious. They are. And they're cheap. They're always, for years, I mean, it's gone up now. Obviously, everything has to go up in price eventually because their prices go up. But for years, a box of Little Debbie, whatever, was 99 cents. And even now, what is it now, guys? I think you get them for $1.29, $1.49 for, a box of whatever it is. The cosmic brownies, the Swiss cakes, the zebra cakes, the strawberry shortcake cakes. I'm with you, like, for that sucks. You have to walk after working all day. Check next post, Arthur says. Alrighty. Lick says, saw a bunch of chavvy teens sitting around the park today acting like the world isn't ending. And again, it's just no consideration for other people. That's... Arthur says, between spring and quarantine, people are horny as fuck. Gonna have a baby boom generation replace the current boom dying. A lot of people are saying that, Arthur. I think there's gonna be a lot of truth to that. Everybody indoors, and it's just like me. I don't consider myself high risk at all. As far as for myself, listen, I'm not saying I'm immune. I'm almost 60 years old, but I'm not afraid of the virus. It's like, if I get it, the odds are greatly in my favor that I'll get sick and get better. But you adhere to the stay-at-homes. You do all the things the right way to try and protect everybody else that's around you. And even to protect strangers that are going to come someplace behind you. It's just being a decent human being, but that's beyond the capabilities for a lot of people. Excuse me. Routine Joker says some bitch played a prank in a supermarket. She pretended to cough all over food, bags, and baked goods. The company had to throw out $15,000 worth of produce. Yeah, see that kind of stuff. I have zero tolerance and patience for that stuff. I think she should go to prison, not to county jail. I think that should be a felony, and you go to prison. There's no excuse for it, no reason for it. I consider myself a sociopath. I'm not even close to those levels. If you can do something like that to entirely innocent people, at least my sociopathy, fuck off train, is directed at the train. But at least my sociopathy is directed at people that have infuriated me for some reason. To just do that to randoms, yeah, she should absolutely be in prison. And then she got arrested, right? I hope so, Lex. Jonathan heard the same thing. That's inexcusable. Again, there's no reason that shouldn't be a felony. BTG says Christmas has the highest divorce rates due to couples spending a fortnight together. What will this lockdown do? Yeah, really. It's probably everything that you guys have contributed is going to happen. You're going to have a big number of births in the 9-month range from when all this is taking place, and and you're also going to have record numbers of separations and divorces when people have to be around each other that long. Go, God damn it, he's annoying, or God damn it, she drives me crazy. Sociopath towards trains, the best kind. I agree, Simon. Check next post. Gimster says, oh, here it is. Excuse me, guys. I saw a tweet where a chick was whining about the fact that Native Americans were getting more support from the government. She obviously doesn't know about what they did to us over the decades minimum. And whining about someone else's support is always horse shit anyway. Listen, if somebody else is getting support, that's great. That doesn't stop you from petitioning for your own and everything, but to try and, which is basically the case here, throw someone else under the bus because they're getting something. Well, it's just the nature of kind of scummy human beings. That's all there is to it. What the fuck, okay, if somebody's getting something else, say, hey, if there's money for this, I want you to find money for us as well. Not, hey, take some of what they're getting away and give it to me. People are just, I will say, and I don't mean to be Debbie Downer, but I think most of you guys will agree with me, at least in America, in the near future, there's not going to be any coming together of Americans. If one thing that this virus has proven is that you've got even with people dying, you've got everybody firmly entrenched. You got right, you got left. We hate you. We hate you. It's not going to change here. M says domestic violence is about to go up. I hope not, but yeah, you could be right. The new boom will be immune to corona. Here's hoping, Arthur. Yeah, because they were created. Well, now too, did you guys hear that Johnson & Johnson just signed a big deal with the government to create a immunization? Apparently, they've got something in the works that they feel will immunize us against it, and they said they can start human testing as early as September. Possibly have the immunization out there at the beginning of next year, which I know seems a long way away. That's why in the meantime, we still got to research things like hydroxychloroquine and any other pharmaceuticals that can at least hopefully defeat the disease for now until there can be an actual immunization against the disease. BTG says, a reminder, America fought for independence because they got charged for being defended from the French. It's more a surprise all America isn't scum. Yeah. That's true. That's true. But it's depressing though, BTG. It really is that there was absolute, and again, I don't generally consider myself a pessimist, but I don't think there will be a coming together in this country anytime soon. I think for the foreseeable future, it's always going to be two sides fighting it out. It's just the way it is here now. It's not going to change. And as much as the left would want you to believe it, it's like, well, as soon as Trump gets out, it'll be fine. No, it's not going to change, because even if you get Trump out and you get a Democrat in there, now with the way Trump has been treated for his time in office, the Republicans, the right, is going to go after, in earnest, anybody on the left that gets in because they feel that that person deserves it for the same reasons that they got treated the way they did. It's not going to end. Nope, there won't. Yeah, biggest screen. I just don't see it happening. How long do I think we'll be quarantined, Jacob? I follow this really closely, but I hesitate to give numbers because nobody knows for sure. All I can tell you is what I see as potential outcomes. Over the next few days, or in the next few days, we should get some good quality numbers about hydroxychloroquine in New York City and how they're giving it to 1,100 people right now. There's also multitude of countries doing live testing with hydroxychloroquine right now. Early results and a lot of anecdotal evidence shows that it might be something that could really change the game a lot. So we have to factor that. If that is successful to any significant degree, I think in the month of April, you'll see things start to loosen up a bit. If hydroxychloroquine, remdesivir, or I forgot how you pronounce that other drug, all the other drugs they're researching, if they come up short, I think it's going to be longer than that. I think the issue you're going to run into is the government will not be able to keep people in much longer than end of April, beginning of May. People will start to revolt, and they will just go out and go about their business. I do think that's going to happen. They're going to panic. When they see that their businesses, the chances of their businesses ever coming back are disintegrating, when they're going that long without paychecks, when people are getting stir crazy in the house, I don't think people will abide by the rules anymore. I think people will take it upon themselves to end it. I'm not rooting for that by any means. You're asking me what I think. That's what I think. Let's see. So, Jill, I'm in a dilemma. I don't like masturbating because I feel lonely after watching porn and jerking off. But I'm going to feel lonely because it's quarantine. Anyway, what should I do? No, stick with the yanking. That's always my go-to. From New Mexico. Hey, thanks, Ezekiel. I lived in New Mexico for years. For several years in Roswell. Well, I don't know about educated, Jacob, but that's just my take on it. I would really, really, really like to see this hydroxychloroquine combo be successful. I'd love to have them come out, several days from now and say, God damn, the people we're giving it to early on, in the early stages of this disease, it's unhooking that fucker and getting rid of it. That's what I'd like to see happen. And then I think things will start opening up much quicker because we do have literally tens of millions of dosages of hydroxychloroquine coming into the country, and natively within the country, the drug company's working on pumping out even more. M says, if it's no different anyways, then add the wanking. I'm with you, M. Always add the wanking. Let's see. Arthur says, media stopped airing his conferences meant for the people, then slammed it for airing only on Fox. Like, what? That's the thing. Okay, you don't want to air them? Don't air them. I will say this, because we are in this stage of life in America. As we've said, it's left versus right, and it's always going to be. I do think the left, I won't go so far as others have said to say that the left is entirely rooting for this hydroxychloroquine not to work. I think what you're seeing now is a mad dash, because a lot of people are seeing where it really may work. The left is terrified that if it does, that cruises Trump into the presidency in the election this year, and it may. So I think what you're seeing is preemptive striking. They're just hitting him even more often than usual over every tiny little thing they can imagine. They're just hammering it, because they're trying to soften the blow that if this medicine works, and they came at him so hard for suggesting that it would, which is a stupid thing to do, they put all their eggs in that basket. Basically, the mainstream media and the far left have gone after Trump viciously for just suggesting that this might be a game changer back on March 20th when he did. Didn't tell anybody to take the drugs. He's saying that he had hopes that this was going to be a game-changing combination of pharmaceuticals. If it turns out that way, it's going to give him a huge boost. And I think what you're seeing now is the left trying to soften the pop that he'll get for that. Gimster says, saw a funny tweet. This just in. Mexicans are asking Trump to hurry with the wall. Yeah, absolutely are right now. That's pretty good. And probably true. Chrome says they're desperate because they know Biden will lose big. It just depends on how big. How much of the House and Senate will they lose? You think so, Chrome? I think if everything stayed status quo, I think that's a really close election. I will say this, because obviously we haven't had anything of this magnitude in this nation probably since the World Wars, what we're going through right now in battling this coronavirus. So if you do have Trump saying, again, March 20th, almost 2 weeks, going on 2 weeks ago, that I think this could be a game changer, and then it turns out to be one, and he can go back and say, listen, that's why I was not as panicked about it as the mainstream media wanted me to be, because I'm the president. I get information. I had reason to believe that this was going to be huge and it would alleviate things. If he's able to do that, I think he annihilates Biden. Yes, I think. And I think that's what the left is just terrified of. Maz says, doubt even if the medication works against corona that we'll get back to normalcy anytime soon. Some vaccine that work on the same basis of how the virus connects will take a long time to come out. Well, that's what they're saying, Maz. They think the vaccine, Johnson & Johnson just got big money to produce it. They're saying the vaccine will come out probably early next year. It depends on how well, if at all, the hydroxychloroquine does work. If what some anecdotal evidence has been showing turns out to be the case, and that you take it early, as soon as you start getting symptoms, and it knocks it out, then the only thing remaining to be seen was, did you have the virus long enough to build up a natural immunity to getting it again? That would be obviously the best of all possible scenarios, is that you could take this hydroxychloroquine mix. It not only knocks the illness out of you, but having contracted the illness doesn't allow you to get it again. That would be the best case scenario, but that's asking for a lot. If all that happened, I think we'd be on the road to normalcy in a hurry. But again, that is an absolute, guys, best possible case scenario. I don't want anybody thinking that, well, Curtis said it'd just be a few weeks. No, I'm just saying that's the best case right there. Let's see. Never been immunity to coronavirus. No, Chrome. I was reading some doctor said that these coronaviruses in the past, once you've gotten them, it was possible to get them again, but it was highly unlikely. Whatever it did to your body, like with SARS, whatever it did to your body did create a resistance to getting it again. Let's see. Chrome says, I don't think we'll see this explode in China again. I don't buy China's official numbers. Oh, no. There's no way. I think it's steadily spread there the whole time instead of basically being gone for... I agree with you completely, Chrome. No, their numbers are bullshit. There's no reason to believe anything that comes out of China. There really isn't. They've never given us... In recent history, they've never given us any reason to believe them. And no, I don't trust their numbers at all. Nope, I don't. When and again, I'm way into this, so I monitor the numbers and stuff. I don't even pay attention to theirs. I just assume they're all bullshit. I froze just now, looked high as balls. Nice. You got it, Simon. Goddamn Susan. Johnny says Biden will lose 10 states to 40. Yeah, I'll tell you. And again, it's if this hydroxychloroquine works and Trump gets a major boost from it, the left has no one to blame but themselves. They shouldn't have come after him with that kind of fervor over having said that he had hopes that this was going to be a game changer. Because when you do that, you're basically making a gamble. You're saying that if this does work, now we've just proved him right, us wrong, and we look like assholes going into an election. So unless you had a reason to believe that it seriously wasn't going to work, they never should have done that. BTG says a high mortality virus. Wonder what stand I'll get. I know. Oh, man, I would get some shitty stand. I wouldn't get anything good. I know that's what would happen to me. Yeah, yeah. Brax says I'll probably get Koichi's. Arthur says I don't think China made this. Some of the spread was definitely intentional. I don't know, Arthur. I don't know if I agree with that. I don't. No, I don't think they made this. I think it came to be just the way we think it did in their wet markets. I don't think the spread was intentional. I think they allowed the spread not on purpose, out of ignorance. That's what I think happened. I think the Chinese government even tried to turn a blind eye to it, like, oh, nothing to see here, as the dumpster fire is taking place behind you, like the Leslie Nielsen meme we all see. I think that's what it was a case of more than anything else. We know they lied. They were saying that there was no person-to-person transmission of it when there clearly was, and so they were lying all along. Koichi stand is pretty good. The shitty thing is it starts out as an egg. Yeah, Big Green. Maz says, point being, if the choices are to either have more social isolation or take a drug with potentially horrible side effects, yeah, better get off their ass with the vaccine. What horrible side effects are you hearing about this one, Maz? The only bad side effects I've heard of hydroxychloroquine is it makes you itchy. Now, if you take it over long periods of time, it can create issues with your eyes. And that's why people who are on it extended periods for lupus and stuff have to have their eyes checked regularly. If there are certain cases where if you have existing heart conditions, it can exacerbate that, but that would be up to, obviously, your doctor to know of that interaction. I haven't really heard. These drugs, you have to remember, these drugs have not been used against COVID-19, but they've been around forever. They've been around for years and years, so we have a really good idea of what the potential side effects are. If it wasn't made, why the massive suppression? I think BTG, just because that's the way China goes about things. Well, if for no other reason, they didn't want the world finding out about this because, again, they started it. They started SARS in those goddamn wet markets, and the whole world went, stop. Those things are filthy and disgusting. That situation is asking for this type of virus to be created and transmitted. And they just went right back to it. So I think it was just a case of they freaked out because, oops, we fucking did it again. So let's make up a story about the U.S. Army brought it here. Yeah, that's what it was. That's why they were hoping that they could say that it's not really happening and beat it down, whether it meant welding everybody into their apartments or whatever they had to do before the rest of the world caught on. I think that's what they were after. Lick says, and the Chinese government killed the doctor who leaked the virus to the world. I believe that too, Lick. They said he died from the disease. I don't believe it. And they said another doctor is currently missing, a female doctor, who had done some testifying about the origins of the disease in China, and now she's missing. So that ain't gonna, that ain't gonna end well. Chrome says, can we stop saying it was from a wet market when even they admitted it was from an animal research lab? They've not admitted they made it, though they did change the story to U.S. Army now. No, but Chrome, that's only part of the story. It was in animal research labs, but then it spread because those animals were then released or put into the wet markets. So the virus itself was not created in the lab, but the means to have the virus take hold once it got into the wet market was wet mark as opposed to dry mark. Gimster says, I saw a surprising tweet. Brazilian gangsters are forcing curfews on the general population due to their government calling COVID a little flu. Really? That's kind of interesting, Gimster. I gotta look that up. I'd be interested to read more about that. Yeah, Stormstar is right. China's attitude: when in doubt, deny. Yeah, 100%. 100%.
What virus? Never happened. Never saw it.
Yeah, exactly. BTG, China's fatality numbers aren't skewed. Bullets aren't coronavirus after all. Yeah. That's sad but true. I I know no one can tell, but if you would guess, when do you think people will be able to start going back to work, shopping, normal life, etc.? Steve says, I think it's going to be gradual. I don't think there'll be and all of a sudden, okay, we're back. I think it'll be gradual, but again, it all depends on pharmaceuticals right now, Steve. It just depends on the success the pharmaceuticals have. I think if the pharmaceuticals, whether it's hydroxychloroquine or whatever it may be, if they have success in controlling the disease, I think you'll see it start rolling out in the coming weeks, slowly being rolled back. If no pharmaceuticals have an effect on it, then I think the people, unfortunately, and I hope I'm wrong about this, but I think the people are going to end up dictating as it gets rolled back, because people will not stay in their house for those extended periods of time, and they're going to get together and they're going to say fuck you to the government, and they're going to go out and they're going to start up their businesses. They're going to go back to work. I think that's what's going to happen. So then it'll be just a case of how long will people be patient for. Again, hope I'm wrong. It's just my thoughts on it. Johnny Bravocado says Biden is an even bigger mush-mouth dipshit than President Pigshit, and that's pretty impressive. Yeah, it's not a selection that gives you a lot of good feeling inside, is it, Johnny? Arthur says it's important we stop China from buying our stocks. Could not agree with that more. Absolutely. Could not agree with it. I completely agree with you, Arthur. That should be a no-brainer as far as I'm concerned. Chrome says what we have to hope for really as well is that it doesn't mutate fast enough for the potential vaccine or cure to be meaningless. I read something on that, Chrome, not too long ago, just the other day, because again, I read on it constantly. It was way over my head. I'll be perfectly honest with you. It was one of those it was one of those science papers way over my head. But the conclusion was they have every reason to believe that it's not highly mutative, this virus. So for whatever that's worth. And again, this was work done by research scientists, not some dumb fuck on Twitter.
Not you.
Not me, yeah. That would be that dumb fuck. But I didn't understand why. It was way over my head. But that was the conclusion. I was able to get to the conclusion portion of it, and they're saying there's no absolutes. It's still too early in the game, but they don't think it's going to be highly mutative. Stormstar says the only good thing I got from China is a recipe for honey chicken. All right, guys, I gotta go. This was a great stream. I love talking to you guys about all this stuff. We did it too. We covered the whole gambit again. We went from worst sequels ever seen in movies all the way to laying out everything for COVID-19. Anything you want to know about it, we covered it here, and I'm sure we're right. I've got a chance. And I'll go back, I'll clip that for you. When this first came about, we'll see if I'm right. You guys asked me what I thought, and it's still in a live stream that's available here, so I'd have to go find it. I said that I thought what will happen is, with the level of technology that we have, there will be a pharmaceutical intervention that will lessen the blow. It'll take a little while, but they'll figure out a drug combination, invent a drug, something along those lines, that will start to let us get back to normal. And that was way, way early on. If that does indeed prove to be the case, you bet your ass I'm going to go clip that part out and and I'll repost it. But guys, thank you for the stream. Again, thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for all the great conversation. Thanks for the great sequels too, because again, I have to admit, Caddyshack 2 might have been even worse. I hadn't thought of that one, but that you might have one-upped me there. That might have been worse than Grown Ups 2. With our buckshot theories, high chance of correct. Well, sure, that's, you know what they say, BTG, if you throw enough shit at the wall, some of it's got to stick. But thank you, guys. I appreciate it. And as always, listen, gather in. Everybody, come on, together. We know what's going on here. Come on, get in. Get close to your device. Pumple, pumple. Sticky stuff, sticky stuff, sticky stuff. Only place that you can be guaranteed 100% coronavirus free. How do I know? Chinese government said, goosh, 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 sticky stuff, virus free. And we know we can trust them. So here it is for all. There you go. Sticky stuff for you. Sticky stuff for all. and as always, we'll bang, okay? Flashly like Buggy, and most importantly, forever. And the thing that ties us all together as one. Goosh, 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 goosh. Goosh.